Welcome back, my name is Lee from Leslie's Kitchen. Today I am making a crustless baked cheesecake. So I am a geek for desserts, and when I try and make them as healthy as possible. So I do low carb, so I try avoid sugar and carbohydrates when I can. So today we're going to make a baked cheesecake, and this recipe is from the Healthy Recipes blog, and I'll link it down below, and I'm going to be using that today. So for the ingredients, you're going to need a tablespoon of melted butter, and that is for wiping out your springform pan. So you need a springform pan and some parchment paper as well, just put in the bottom there. Then you also need 30 ounces of ricotta. So I've made some ricotta with some old milk. So I've got that there. I brought some as well, and I'm just going to top it up with some cream cheese for what I need to supplement. Then you need 2/3 of a cup of sugar or sugar replacement. So I'm using Reposol and stevia blend. For that instead, you'll need 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And then we need 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. Now, I couldn't get cornstarch. It was actually more expensive to get the name brand than get tapioca flour. So I just got some tapioca flour. I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of that. If you're doing clean keto, you can use 2 tablespoons of coconut flour as well. You also need a tablespoon of lemon zest, and I had this in the freezer from the last time I canned my lemons. Then you need 4 eggs, and then that's about it. So really important to make sure that you've got all the ingredients out a couple of hours prior, and having all at room temperature is going to make it a lot easier. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to preheat the oven. So the oven needs to be preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius. Now, if you've got an electric oven, I would probably even take that down to probably 170 Celsius, as they usually bake a lot hotter. I've got a gas oven, so I'm going to put it onto 180. And mine has an option to use the fan or not. I'm just deciding not to use it because we want just a really gentle heat when we're baking it. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to prepare the pan. So I'm just going to get this butter into the microwave, and we'll be back. All right, so first we're going to line our springform pan. Now, it just said to grease it with butter. I think just lining it with the grease-proof paper makes it just a lot easier to take it all out. So we're just going to put that on top of the plates, and then really is just push down and lock it in place, and it should be all good. And then we're just going to grab some butter, and then we are just going to brush around the edges. Even the paper there. Make sure that is all coated. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start making the batter. So what we're going to do is we're going to put everything into the bowl except for the eggs, which we will whisk in afterwards. So you'll probably need a wooden spoon to start it off, and then you whisk it to finish it off. So first we've got our delicious homemade ricotta. And then I've just got a tub of the ricotta from the supermarket just to supplement that. And then I was about 100 grams short of the ricotta, so I'm just going to put half a tub of this cream cheese in. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my lemon zest to the cheeses. That lemon zest just smells just like I just grated it just then. Then we're going to add our sweetener or sugar. 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Yeah, it's probably about that. And then we're going to use 2 tablespoons of corn flour. But I'm using tapioca starch. You could also use coconut flour if you wanted to as well. Alright, so that's that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start off with a spoon and just get that all combined, and then I'm going to start whisking it up. Alright, don't mind the wet spot there. I just wiped off that tapioca starch, not thinking that it'll probably show on this shirt. So I'm just going to slowly just work everything in. And the important thing is we don't want to put too much air, so we don't want to use a stand mixer or anything to actually make this. So if you can do it by hand, do so. But you don't want to incorporate too much air. So now that is pretty smoothish. Turn over to our whisk, and we'll just start whisking that. And we just want to make sure that sugar is just all dissolved, and that is all. Alright, that's that. Right, so now we're going to add our eggs one at a time. So I've got the first one in there, we're going to go second. Yeah, get some shell in, just use another piece of your shell to get it out. Like so. Number 3. And lucky last, number 4. Now, the recipe specifies once the eggs have been stirred in, you don't want to mix it too much. So that's all you want to do. And just a reminder, depending on what sort of ricottas and everything you got, you're going to get different textures and everything. So mine's got a few grains in it, and that's just because I use homemade ricotta rather than the smooth ricotta from the supermarket. Alright, so now we're going to get that into the springform pan. So I like to grab a tray and just put it under it, just in case there's any drips or anything that comes through it. There shouldn't, but you never know. I'm going to pour all this into there. Alright, now we're going to get this in the oven and we're going to bake it for 45 minutes until the center looks set, and it just has just a little bit of a jiggle in it. So we put it into the middle shelf. Alright, so it's been 45 minutes and that looks cooked. See, it's got a bit of a jiggle, but it's not soupy or anything like that. So I think that is done. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave that in there. We're going to close the oven. We're going to turn it off. Then we're just going to grab a wooden spoon and just put that in there. Just so the door stays open a little bit. And we're going to let that come down to room temperature before we put it into the refrigerator. Alright, so we've let this cool down in the oven to room temperature. Now we're going to get into the fridge and just let that set. Alright, so our cheesecake's been in the fridge for a few hours now and it's chilled right down. Let's serve it up and try it out. Alright, so I'm just going to get a plastic scrape around the edge. And just make sure it releases from the pan. Oops. There we go. About that much. Alright, so let's just pop that out. Then I've got some adult cream. Grab another spoon. And then I've got some stewed frozen berries that I did a couple of days ago. And I've got some fresh blueberries here, so why not? Doesn't that look good? Let's try it out. And if you like this video, don't forget to like it. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe because I've plenty to come. This is actually my second time I've actually done a baked cheesecake. I usually just do refrigerator ones, but this actually looks really good. And I will say it's so much better than my last one, so this is actually a really good recipe and give it a go.